Welcome, fellow bookworms, to Tibra's Den. My name is Whitney. I don't know what's happening. The dogs are being very. I have these two, and then Boo Boo is right in front of me. Marley's the only one. He's probably in his hidey hole. What are you doing? What are you doing, huh? I don't know what's happening here. They're very, very needy today. Anyway, my name is Whitney, and it is day 15 of Bookmas. Goodness, we're off to a great start this morning. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right in. My husband and I did read the next section of Christmas Eve Love Story by Ginny Baird. This section was really short. It was only 16 pages. Based on how it looks excuse the cat, compared to how it looks to the other sections, I think that was the shortest section. And somehow she still managed to harp on about the time loop and the Groundhog's Day trope. It's not done well because you don't need a harp on it. We get it. The characters get it at this point. So I don't know what was happening there. But yeah, getting a little bit better. The interactions between Annie and Brayden are a little bit more enjoyable as well. So that's nice. And this one was very short. It's still kind of inconsistent as well. There's something that I mentioned before that didn't happen in chapter 1, happens in chapter 2, and then it's not mentioned for a little while. And then now at this point, it's kind of being brought back up. And so it's like, okay, that should have been a theme from the beginning, though, And so, but at least this chapter, they skipped the whole little boys yelling at each other and destroying the display. It just kind of jumped to the aftermath and those interactions after that. So that was nice. But yeah, there's things I really like the vibes of it. And I like Annie's backstory. But the Groundhog Day trope part of it is just she needs to stop harping on it. We get it, So yeah, there's that one. I am still really enjoying it. Reach past a baby here. First now she's gonna try to lick my book. A December to Remember. I ended up listening to 3 hours and 45 minutes last night, so I have exactly 4 hours left to go in this book. I didn't move my bookmark in the physical copy because I had left it in here. But yeah, I have exactly 4 hours left to go. So I think my husband and I have been really enjoying World of Warcraft. So I think I want to save this one for this evening when he gets home, and we'll maybe play a little bit more. We're trying to get our characters up to level 40 because that's when you get your fast mount. So it makes it a little easier to quest and such. So I think I'm going to save this one for this evening and listen to this once my husband's home and we can play World of Warcraft together and have another night of that. But either way, I'm determined to finish this one today. So if he decides he doesn't want to play or anything, I'm going to just sit and listen to it. So that's the plan for this one. I didn't quite get it finished. The Christmas Fix, though, we did finish that. Like I said, we had 2.5 hours left yesterday, which was exactly 100 pages. And yeah, my thoughts on this one haven't really changed from yesterday. I liked being back with these characters because you do get Kat's twin brother Gannon and Paige, which were the characters from the first book. So I liked having them back. And I liked the characters. I especially liked Noah, who is Kat's love interest, and his daughter Sarah as characters. I really enjoyed them. Um, and it's funny because Sarah's 12 or 13 in this, and there's also a girl around that age in this one. Sarah's likable. This girl in this one is very annoying. I didn't talk about this at all, so let's backtrack a little bit. So this one we're following the three sisters, and I was expecting going in one more romance, which there is the romance element, but It's more about these sisters and them reconnecting, which is fine. I like that. I do like that the three sisters are similar in age to myself and my sisters, where I'm one of three as well, and I'm the baby. I'm not a hot mess like Star, that's for sure. And so I like kind of like seeing the dynamics between them. And it's funny because my middle sister was always the peacemaker when we were younger. And in this one, it's Maggie, who's the eldest, who's the peacemaker. But Maggie and Star have a closer relationship, and I would definitely say I have, now that as adults, I have a closer relationship with my eldest sister versus my middle sister. So it's fun seeing those dynamics. But I was expecting more of the scavenger hunt and then them getting this winter festival, bringing it back and getting it going. And that's a very like mild part of the story. It's really more about these sisters and their individual struggles. You have Maggie, she's dating a younger man. We learn he's like 33 and she, I think, is 44, so 11-year age gap. And she's premenopausal, and she's like, I worry that you're going to want a family. And I like the conversation they had. And he's like, I never had that drive to have a family. I'm happy to be a dad figure for your daughter, because her son is 20, so he's older. And he's like, I'm happy to be a dad figure for your daughter, but I never had that drive. So you need to trust me to know what I want, and not think I'm going to let you down because I'm going to change my mind in a few years. I'm 33. If I haven't wanted kids at this point, I'm not likely to change my mind. I could understand, if he was like in his early 20s. So then you have that strife, and he works for her, and she's all, just worried about stuff and how her son's going to react because he doesn't get along very well with Joe, and it's more he sees that there's something and he's worried, because his mom has made bad choices after his dad died. She made bad choices with men in the past. Then you have Sloane and her wife are struggling, and so they're she came here and her wife was like, "You go, we need a break from each other," because they're trying to get pregnant with IVF, and it's been very, very stressful. And she hasn't been able to get pregnant, and her wife not really interested in carrying a baby. So you have that struggle and that strife. And then she doesn't get along with Star, who's the youngest, because of an ex-boyfriend of Star's who is an addict, and he ended up stealing from them. And she kind of blames Star for letting him in the house and such. And so they've been, not getting along, but they're starting to get along now. And then Star, is dealing with this ex who keeps harassing her. And I really like, there's I think his name's Duncan, I want to say. I'm horrible with names. He's from Sotheby's, and he's evaluating, the antiques and such, which their father had an antique shop. And so that's like their inheritance. And so, but you know, he did the scavenger hunt to find the little Monopoly houses to kind of get them working together to set up for them, um, putting on this winter festival. And they need to do those two things, and then they'll get their inheritance. So Star really likes Duncan, but it doesn't seem like he's into her, although like you see that he is. But I think he's maybe a little shy, or I don't know, because we don't get his point of view. But it's really more, it's less about their romances. Like, yes, you have those individual things, and you have the the goal of them putting on this festival, but you're not getting a whole lot of that, and I thought you'd get more of that. It's more about their personal relationship and reconnecting and such, which I do like. I just was expecting more of a romance, and then that lighthearted, the scavenger hunt and putting on this festival. So a little bit heavier there. And then in the Christmas fix, like I said, my thoughts didn't really change from what I said yesterday. um I did like that we did have Paige, which was one of the characters from the first book, because she was kind of like a voice of reason for Kat. But it's just like Kat was very immature regarding the relationship. And that really just bothered me, because like, based on the character, like she shouldn't have been that immature. The conflict of her, focusing on her career and not wanting to settle down and such, or thinking she doesn't want to settle down, like that part was fine, but it was just the way she handled it was very, very immature. And then you have Noah, who has his 12-year-old daughter. He grew up in this town. His daughter and his ex-wife live in this town, and so like he's settled, and so it's really going to be on her if she wants to try to make this work. To does she want to settle down? But she's trying to create the school, and so it's not just like working for the network as a reality TV star. She's also trying to do this school, and so that's going to make her a little bit more settled, and she thinks it has to be either or. And so I did really like them together. I loved Noah as a character and his daughter Sarah. Um, and I like the premise of, you know, her coming into this town to help after the hurricane and fixing stuff. And like I said, that part, the reality and the renovation part, wasn't as prevalent as it was in the first book, but it was definitely still there. And so, yeah, I enjoyed the story overall. It was just the immaturity. And even Noah had a few moments where it just didn't really feel right for the character she created. Like when he flew off the handle thinking he made she made April cry for the cameras. So, like, there was just a few things like it felt like, okay, like it didn't really fit the characters, but she wanted that drama there. But Kat really got on my nerves in regards to the relationship. So, and a little bit of cheesy moments at times, and the use of the word diabolical was a little over excessive. Like, it was like 4 times back to back, and then she brings it back in the end, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. And even my husband's like, really? Because he listened to this one with me. So yeah, I did end up giving this, I think, 4 stars, because I did enjoy it. Like I said, it's just that immaturity didn't really fit the characters very much. So there is that one. I did read more of Midnight at the Christmas Bookshop by Jenny Colgan. So I read like 54 pages last night. Um, I'm still not really sure. So, like, again, based on the synopsis, that's not what we're getting so far. Because it's like Christmas comes too early, far too early to McCready's little old town bookshop in Edinburgh. It's summer hot with long daylight hours, but an American production company has decided McCready is the perfect location to film a very cheesy Christmas movie. After all, who can resist the charmingly narrow, historic streets with its Victorian gray stone buildings and warmly lit shop windows? Carvin Hogan, who has taken over the day-to-day running of the bookshop, is amused and a bit horrified by the going on. But the money the studio is paying is too good to pass up. After they've moved on, Carmen uses a little windfall from filming to enlarge the store, which involves clearing out an almost forgotten storeroom packed full of old books. From deep in the stacks, old McCready's secrets emerge just as snow begins to fall and the lights of Christmas blink on outside. So we haven't gotten to that part yet, but the whole filming there has just been like kind of mentioned here and there, and it is a little confusing because you start off with that, and then she goes backward in time, and she's reflecting on this relationship with OK, who is a Brazilian guy, um, who is there for like university, and he ends up staying because they have a relationship, but he hasn't slept with her, but he has like some religious, like, I'm not really sure what his religion is, but he does have something there and kind of made jokes together about it. But anyway, she decides she wants to sleep together, so she sets up a situation and then gets upset because he doesn't sleep with her. And things just kind of fall apart, and he gets an opportunity to go back on a research expedition. He's into plants or trees or something. Anyway, so he gets an opportunity to go back on this research expedition back to Brazil where he'll be able to see his family. So even though they're broken up, he gives her a call and lets her know. And so there's like a bunch of back timeline, and it's like, February and March, and that's when he goes off. And now we're back in October, and I can't tell if the filming is still going on or she's just reflecting on the filming that has already happened. Like, it's not very clear. The timeline is not very clear at all, and it's a little confusing. But it's basically she's living with her sister, and she's been there a year, and her sister's trying to hint her, like, it's time for you to go. And her sister just had baby number 4, and so she's um getting ready to go back to work. She's hiring a nanny for the kids, the live-in nanny and such. And she's like trying to get her sister out, but her sister's not cluing in because she's not just sitting down like, hey, you need to leave. And so yeah, it's just like I still don't know what's going on. The writing is really easy to read and such, and like it, pulled me in fine. But I'm just confused as far as what's going on, and the timeline's not very clear. And so yeah, I don't know. Like, is the filming still happening? I don't know. And we haven't gotten very much of that, which it seemed like that was going to be the first part of the book. And I obviously haven't gotten to the second part where she starts renovating or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know what's going on at this point. So yeah, I'll continue to read this tonight. I did try to start Train Tracks by Michael Savage. I only got to page 10. Um, I was very tired, and honestly, I don't really remember those 10 pages, so I'm probably gonna restart this one today because, like I said, I plan on reading today. So that's my plan, is just to restart this because I was tired. I probably shouldn't have even attempted to start it, but I really wanted to see what it was about. So have it start this. It does seem like, reading the introduction though, it does seem like it's gonna be more like essays or short stories. Um, and he does reference the pictures and whatnot. So I will restart this and hopefully have better brain power to know what's going on here. And of course, because I was so tired, I did not start yesterday's choice at all. So there's that. And we did read um, Dungeon Crawler Carl, The Butcher's Masquerade. We did read more of that, and because we skipped the night before, we read like several chapters. And yeah, still loving that, obviously. We still can't get enough of that. Tonight is an odd date, so we will be reading the next story in Mystery for Christmas, edited by Cynthia Manson. And that one will be, let's see here. Read that. So on Christmas Day in the Morning by Margery Allingham. So, and it looks like it's 14 pages. So again, not super long, but hopefully we enjoy it better than the last one. Like I said, there have been a lot of kind of misses in this so far. A few that have been somewhat enjoyable, but we'll continue and give that one a try tonight. And that brings us to today, which fortunately for me is really thin. It is a hardback, so I'm thinking it's either Richard Paul Evans or Mary Higgins Clark because it's the right size for one of those. So let's go ahead and see what we have today. And my plan is, I think, other than doing these videos, and I have to do like dishes, obviously, those are never ending. I think my plan is to read the next 2 days and try to catch up, and then I'll do chores on Wednesday. So we'll see how it goes. A groany baby. I don't know if you heard her, but she doesn't want to open. I see a Barley back there snuffling the books. I get a lot of my books used, and they love to just snuffle on them. All right, so let's go ahead and see. Oh, I was wrong. Another one I completely forgot about. So this is Karen Kingsbury, and this is Gideon's Gift. And I have read, I think, just one book by this author, but I really enjoyed it, and I do have some others by her. The book I read, I think, was called Chasing Sunsets, which is the second book in the series, but it follows a different couple than the first book. And then there is a third book that I do have that I would like to read, which follows the same couple from the second book. But yeah, so I'm excited to give her a try. Again, it's really thin. So let's see here. There's an author's note. So it's only 143 pages. So I should definitely be able to knock this one out today, which will be good, and then hopefully make progress on the other ones. Let's see what this is about. So, I hate Christmas, Earl said. He expected that would do the trick. Tell most kids that and they'd get the hint. But not this little girl. Want to know my best Christmas? She asked. A real tree with twinkly lights and a fire truck for my brother and a brand new doll with golden hair for me. How about you, Earl? What's your perfect Christmas? The author of the best-selling A Treasury of Christmas Miracles and A Treasury of Miracles for Women, Karen Kingsbury, and her story of unexpected real-life miracles have inspired and touched readers worldwide. With this book, she creates an unforgettable holiday tale of a man who has lost all hope and an irrepressible child suffering from a terrible illness, and the one small act of love and faith that will give them both the greatest gift of all. 5 years ago, Earl Badgett lost his beloved wife and daughter and his faith in everything good. Angry and heartbroken, he took to the streets where he slept in alleys and scavenged food from garbage cans. Now he is in a slow, anguished slide toward ending his life forever. He doesn't want anyone reaching out to him. He doesn't need anyone, especially the pesky little girl who refuses to leave him in peace. When he stops by the shelter for an occasional meal, how can he know that 8-year-old Gideon Mercer is the leukemia patient, confident that her sudden remission is a Christmas gift from God? How can he know how much she wants to share the truth that Christmas miracles happen to those who believe? When she gives old Earl a gift at the mission dinner, neither of them can imagine that the present she's found will lead him to a heart-wrenching reawakening, or that someone's determination to return the favor will begin an unforgettable series of Christmas miracles that will reverberate throughout the rest of their lives. So we'll see how I do with this one. Obviously, again, heavier topics. So I definitely, with these two, they're going to be a little bit heavier. But hopefully with, the others I'm working on that can help with that a little bit. So I'm very confident I'll be able to complete that one today and hopefully make some good progress on the other ones. Tomorrow's looks really thin as well. So that's another reason I want to spend just today and tomorrow just reading and have full on reading days. And that way I can hopefully catch up with these thinner books as well. And yeah, and chores can wait. So, like I said, I'll do dishes probably later tonight, and I'm gonna go ahead and get to this video, get it uploaded. I did um finally get to my wrap up, and so that will be coming out later this evening at my normal time. And so you'll have a bonus video of my November wrap up later on. I did work on that yesterday, which obviously took away from reading as well. But yeah, I'm going to go get to it because I'm very excited for what I have. And I will see you guys tomorrow to let you know how it goes.